Well, welcome back to the farm. It's been a week or two since I put a video up, just because for the past week, it's March 26th now. Just a second, I want to double check this. Yes, it's March 26th, Wednesday. So we had a vet student from the Royal Veterinary College here for the past week. Part of her first year, she needed more experience on a sheep farm, so she came here and helped us. We were hoping we'd have lambing to do, but we only had a bunch of tagging we had to do on them and banding and processing the lambs. We had one set of lambs, I think, went, maybe two, I can't remember. We've got our breeding group up in the top pen. You saw Manny there. So we got our whole creep set up here. So they've got their lamb grow in here. I think it's like a 18% lamb starter in their creep area that they've started to nibble on. We've got hay in here. So she was here helping us with everything that you could do on the sheep farm. So thankfully we had a little bit of everything. We had lambs to tend to. We had a little bit of sort of medical scares. There was one of the ewes had a bit of pussy scabby thing, but it turned out to just be when our sheep actually got out once or twice and they were running loose. Moxie caught her face or got a nip from the dog, so that got infected. So thankfully, but she got to experience the stress of that. As you can see, we got the front pieces of plywood up on our pallet barn here where the lambs are, because if we take a look at this, had the tarp all the way to the ground, and the problem is the little tarp bits, these little stringy things the lambs are chewing on. And if you can see here, this is what it looked like. So there's a bit of exposed screws from when we put the rubber up. So she helped us get this all safe and secure here. We've set up the playpen right here and then right up there. And we got a feeder cleaned up and in here, and we got the creep feed done. And all the lambs are here. When she showed up, we had lambs in that shed and this shed in jugs. And we got everybody situated in here. They're doing happy, healthy. They're tagged up, banded up. I know some of you wanted to see how we band tails and testes. We'll cover that because we have some more ewes due really quick. So we'll cover it there. It's just with somebody visiting and trying to learn on the farm, we didn't really, I didn't feel it was respectful to do any sort of videos. And video everything, because you're trying to learn. You don't need to worry about being on camera doing stuff. So, and she's really gonna be a good vet one day. So hopefully, she keeps going. Well, she's gonna keep going on with school, but yeah, she'll be a great vet one day. And really good to see, even a lot of people say the younger generation doesn't have a work ethic, but she was on it. She had this whole thing figured out really quick and could do stuff on her own, and it was just absolutely wonderful. She cleaned off this platform here when we were doing the panel front there, so we had a workstation. So that was really nice. I've got to get this all cleaned out to clean that shed out there. You saw that shed is bedded. This shed we've done bedding. That shed we've done bedding. We've put straw in the playpen area just so that they were nice and clean. So we redid this fence right through here because, as you can see, we had our scale there carrying her, and I guess me to a lesser extent. They did all the toes on everybody down here, trimming the toes and vaccinating the next group of pregnant ewes. And we came up with a few things, as we were doing and flipping them in our tilt table, a couple things that needed attention, and they took care of all of that. There's a couple weird cysty things on their feet and inflamed scent glands, so they took care of that. So, and then we have so we needed all the panels out that were in here and some of the gates, because our panels that we had were being used on the front of this playpen. So it was definitely time to strip this down and put up some wire. So we got all that done, and it looks 10 times better than it was. So yeah, she just helped feeding and doing waters and everything. So anyways, speaking of waters, I'm gonna get to work on that here right now. The other thing, we could see we got all the planks back up on the boys' hay feeder so they can't keep jumping into it. So that's all finished out and we're back to factory. As these little turds were jumping in and out. And then just this morning, we did Hank's feet. Hi, buddy. As part of like the last thing, so Ava could get a practice on doing some more feet here because she was doing quite a bit of them, but it doesn't hurt to do more. And we found his tip of his testes weren't just frostbit, because sometimes they get, there are none here. No, sometimes it, freight train, you got, yeah, anyways. Sometimes the tip of the testes can get frostbit, but he had a bit of a weird, Carrie thinks it was a bit of a fungal or a bacterial infection on the tip of his testes, which would have given us a this is why he probably wasn't lying down a lot and was standing all the time, and when he was lying down he didn't really want to get up, is because it probably hurt. So they cleaned his testes all up and washed it all up and put some ointment and something on there, I'm not sure. So, but he's doing really good in here. He's thriving, so that's a good thing. But yeah, just more sheep care that she had to go over. You can see his little messy pen because he's a messy eater, but whatever. So at some point I'll catch up all the videos, but I was trying to get this whole area cleaned out. If you look at some previous videos, the van was parked where the truck is, and where the van was the engine lifter, or not the engine, the car hoist. So I finally got the car hoist all together and put back down there, and then the van moved right where I wanted it with the freezer. So when Ava was here, we would have had all this more parking space, but unfortunately I got that done yesterday and she left today. Her time here was done, so, but at least it's cleaned up, so I got a bit more parking. I had some stuff to do on the Jeep too, but we were so busy doing sheep stuff I didn't have a chance to do. I gotta check the ball joint on that car, and I had to do a little bit of a front end service on this and some small parts on there. But we were just so busy sheeping, there was no time for nothing else. So I got to catch up on those later. But yeah, I will catch up on videos for lambing after this. It's just, I didn't even really want to, come on. Like I said, I didn't want a video to be rude, and I didn't want to really have the energy at the end of the day to edit the other videos. So there's no filming, no editing for the past week because oh, and then we did get the rest of our feed for our new feed program. I'll go over that right now. I won't really go over the feed program, but we'll just look at what we got. Okay, so this is for Larry and the horses, because they need a little something extra since the hot and cold weather's been coming in. So this is what we got for the ewes. Okay, the ewes are on a 14% sheep text. The ones that have lambs are on a 14% sheep text. So we got 2 bags of this because the last one only lasted like just under a week. So they get morning and night. They get that 14% sheep text. We've got our mineral here still. That goes to the main flock right now that are on maintenance feed. And then we've got our lamb pellets here. Our lamb pellets there. That's our 18% lamb grow. And then the lambs get this when they're in with the ewes that are lactated. So the lambs get this, the mums get this. Neither of that group get any of this stuff. That's just the way it goes. So we'll go over it all later because there's percentages and stuff we're working on for all of that as well. So we have to cut their hay down a little bit and add more of this. So away she goes. And then there's Hank's extra eat, because Hank needs a little extra something. I'll deal with that later. Morning, boyos. Use one this morning. Oh, this is for the horses. They got to get grain too. Hi. You don't want to go outside. It's gross out there. Cute little girl. So, yeah, lots of calling. Lots of calling. So, the past week there, essentially, I haven't gotten anything done on the videos or editing or filming or any of that stuff. It was just kind of nice to take a break from it all. But what I did do is, ever since we got our, yeah, they're hungry. Ever since we got our hay tests done, and I've been looking more, well, I guess Carrie and I, but we've been looking more into the nutrition and throwing our new nutrition program together here for these guys. I have been working on compiling a spreadsheet where you can input what your sheep are at, like if you're on maintenance feed or first bit of lactating or flushing, or use with twins or singles lambs at certain growths. You input where they are in their whatever feeding regimen, whatever, and then you can select the weight of either each individual animal or just take an average weight for your group. And what it will do is automatically tell you what protein, what minerals for that weight, and for what sort of, I don't really want to call it cycle, but what sort of what they're on there, like I said, maintenance and such. So I've been working on that, and we've got 2 buckets there, one for the Larry, Rodney, Willow. And then what you could do below that is you'll take your information from your hay test, feed test, and off of your grain or supplements. And if you input those into the fields, it will tell you what you're missing for that ideal, what the heck do you call that? Their maintenance, flushing, your breeding, like what, well, I don't know what you call it. But so I'm working on the spreadsheet for that. So then, you know, like if you get your hay tested, it'll say like your protein and your dry matter, like your dry protein will be this, and needed for, say, maintenance ration would be this. And when you input your hay test, it'll tell you, hey, you've got way too much protein. You could add a lower quality something to bring your proteins down, or, you know, like they're still missing minerals, so you could add a lower protein. So I'm working on inputting all that. It's a lot of work though, because I basically have to program each individual group and each individual weight, and then I've got to figure out the proper ratios, because molybdenum and selenium are binders to copper. So you got to figure out all your ratios and stuff and make sure that they're right for each individual group. So it's a lot of work figuring it out, but it's been kind of fun petering at that. So that's what I've been working on, because it's been sort of easy to sit there and I'll just try and figure out the mass for one field. And yeah, so speaking of hay, we got to grab this today, and we're heading out to grab hay out in Armstrong area because we have some market ram lambs and then 2 culls that got to go in on Sunday. So looks like Carrie's here. We'll get feeding.
How are we doing? How does the weather? Has to be fair the night, rainy night. Guys are looking okay. Bouncing and running around like crazy. Humpy doos. You don't have any more squirty butt, mister, so that's good. That stuff cleared your stuff up because you don't have no squirty butt. No one else has squirty butt.
Oh, he's good?
It's cleared right up.
Nice, okay. Oh, it is, okay. Cleaned right up, nice. Hello, Trazies.
Man, you're a chunky little dude there. You're going to be a nice little 3/4 Dorper ram there, mister. You guys are all chunky.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are all chunky.
New feeding schedule, right? Mom's got the proper minerals. Moms are getting their grains. They got their creep feeder full of their lamb crunch and hay.
Having a whizzle, little man? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Larry. Hello.
Wait. She's a potential replacement.
That's a beefy little lamb.
That's a boy. This is the girl. This is the all black girl I was thinking. She's actually coming a long way. I was thinking that all black girl is a replacement too.
Yeah.
Well, we had the all black Molly, so she could be
Yeah.
the new Molly. Molly 2.0. That's Troy's little dude. Hi, Swamp Thing.
You hungry, Larry? We got crunchies for you now, too. Rodney. Uh-huh. Felicia's making babies with Manny. You guys marking good?
It should. She's
Yeah.
got the soft crayon, so it should be marking really well.
Hey, guard dog.
Oh, I see. You first?